First Amendment prevents the government from abridging the freedom of speech. And so the question is, what can you say and what can't you say? My name is Justin Dyer. I'm an associate professor of political science and the director of the Kinder Institute on Constitutional Democracy. Sometimes you hear about hate speech, and we talk a lot about hate speech. Hate speech by itself is not something that can be punished by the law. And so hate speech is constitutionally protected speech. And over time, we have defended the rights of citizens to burn the American flag. We've defended the rights of the KKK to march through Jewish neighborhoods. We've defended the rights of the KKK to burn crosses. We've defended the rights of the Westboro Baptist Church to hold signs with epithets against homosexuals and others. And so you think about the most offensive kinds of speech that we have in our society, those things are protected by the First Amendment, and the Supreme Court has protected those. On the other hand, that doesn't mean that you can say anything you want anytime you want. You can commit conspiracy with your words, you can engage in fraud with your words, you can engage in slander with your words. Once it crosses over into a specific threat against a specific individual, then it's not protected. And so what we're dealing with partly is a question of where to draw those lines. If you have epithets that are leveled in a face-to-face manner in a way in which a reasonable person would be fearful of violent action against them, then that is a crime. If it's simply the case that somebody's engaging in speech that someone finds offensive, but a reasonable person wouldn't be afraid of violence or destruction at that moment, then that would be protected. And then also they've included within this fighting words. And there was an original case that came up where we get the fighting words doctrine, or the idea of fighting words, and it was called Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. And Chaplinsky was a Jehovah's Witness who was on a street corner preaching, and he ended up calling the police officers who came to him and approached him goddamn fascists and racketeers. And the Supreme Court sustained his conviction and said that those words were fighting words. And so one of the questions we have today is whether or not our standards have changed. And the question about what kinds of words constitute fighting words, I think, is a live debate and controversy today. The question now is, will we protect that speech? Will we engage in a reasoned debate and discussion? Will we denounce that? Will we use the freedom of speech to show where it goes wrong and try to point it in the right direction? Or will we simply try to silence that speech because we disagree with it? This interchange of ideas that's essential for the life of the mind, it's essential for academic freedom. It's important for universities to double down on the rights that they have historically protected to engage in speech on campus, even when that speech is offensive and hurtful.